It's all about figuring out if you want to make your life easier or harder as a healthcare entrepreneur. That's what it comes down to, really. So that's what it's all about. If you use them, you get them. If you lose them, it's too bad. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode here, Off the Clock, the Healthcare Entrepreneurs Podcast. Look, I'm really excited you decided to tune in today. And listen, I know you want to know all about it, so I'll get right into it. What we want to do on this video is tell you what's been working for us and the processes that we've been using at Off the Clock to make sure that we can get all our episodes out, we can get scheduled ahead of time. And, we're never running out of content, because I know that's a big thing, especially as a podcaster. You always want to be able to figure out how can I best streamline my process so that through each episode that comes out, I'm able to have the best people on the episodes. I'm able to have the best content available, and I'm also able to do it in a way that does not stress me out, because running a podcast is not easy. No matter what anybody says, it's not easy. So I understand. So I'm going to get right into it. The very first thing we use on our team is Trello. The reason why we use Trello is because it allows us to be able to streamline everything and be able to categorically organize things in a way that makes sense, so that no one is asking, well, when's this due? What's coming up? What's happening this week? What we use with our Trello, we actually have it split up into a few different categories. A to-do, a doing, and a done section, as well as what's happening this week, as well as what's going to be coming up in a few days, right? So we usually use our team to make sure that we have all the right pieces together at a place that we're not second guessing what somebody has to do. Because we have Trello, we actually completely do not even actually have to say, hey, this is coming up. What we've done is we've set it up so that if you go into our Trello board, somebody on the team says, hey, this is my name, somebody's tagged me, and this is what's coming up, so what I have to take care of, and it's pretty sweet, right? So that's the first thing that we use. The second thing we use is Zoom. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people, they're running their podcasts and they do some live stuff. What we've actually done on our podcast has only ever been a virtual podcast, so it's not something that we're struggling with. And I know a lot of people, especially throughout this pandemic, have had to transition to doing virtual stuff. So what we do is we use Zoom. Also, we use Ecamm as well sometimes, but our main platform is Zoom. We have our guests come on and record all our episodes there, and then we're able to actually take the audio file, convert it, we're able to take the video file, upload it, and then our team goes into Trello and sees what they have to take care of. So that's the second thing that we use. The third thing we do is we actually have a pre-episode PDF file that our team sends out to each and every one of our guests. This is going to be the number one thing I advise you actually start using. All right. For some reason, it's not common practice. For some reason, not everybody uses it when they're interviewing other people, right? So why we have our pre-podcast PDF form is because it has a Zoom link right on there. It has a bio of both me and my co-host Carl on the PDF. It also has the flow of the podcast, what it's going to be like, what the segments are going to be broken up into, what's going to happen before we start recording, what's going to happen after we start recording. We also put in there the time. We put in any, pertinent information in there, so that once a guest schedules, automatically we send them an email, we send them this form and say, hey, it also has the date of their episode recording. It says exactly how we're going to do it. So basically, it has all the information that a guest would need when they come onto our show. Now, we use this because what we've learned over the years, over the months, right? Over the years, really, is you want to be as professional as possible when you're bringing a guest onto your show. Okay, guests actually will prefer if they don't have to continue to email you and reach out and say, hey, what time is it going to happen? What's going to be included? What's going to be happening here, right? We have everything set up in our pre-podcast PDF form, so that once it's set out, all the information that they will need is there in one place that they'll never lose. Okay, so that's the third thing we use. The fourth thing we use, obviously, to edit our podcast is Final Cut Pro. Now, I know some people might use iMovie. Some people might use different platforms, but we prefer to use Final Cut Pro because, we're Mac folk. So we're not really, this is what we're using. So we just use Final Cut Pro on our team to make sure all our stuff is edited. And from there, we're able to actually repurpose a lot of our content. what happens is we'll take a full episode, we'll break it up into 3 or 4 key pieces from the podcast. We'll do a little promo stuff will be created. We'll have a few like super really dope 5 to 10 minute segments from the podcast that we'll upload onto Instagram TV. We might upload to our YouTube channel. We put all this stuff together right there in Final Cut Pro. Listen, if you've never used it before, you need to use it. I mean, I'll be honest, all our stuff is fire, and it's all done in Final Cut Pro. And the last thing we do is we upload all our stuff utilizing Google Drive. Now, I know some people, might not want to buy the advanced version of Google Drive. So we actually upload our unfinished episodes onto YouTube as well, right? Just for space reasons. But usually we use Google Drive for all of our storing, all of our, using Google Docs if we have stuff that needs to happen that can't happen in Trello. We use Google Drive for uploading finished stuff, unfinished things, cut up stuff as well. And we just have it as a central location for the team to have access to be able to use and, have all our content together. So hopefully these things help. You know what? I'll give you one more bonus. Is that okay? I'm gonna give you one more bonus. So another thing we use with our podcast is, guess the group chat, right? We actually have a group chat with everybody on our team. The reason for this is understand that when you're running a podcast, especially when you have a business behind the podcast, right? So for us, we have a business behind our podcast, and we have a lot of communication that's happening all the time. So it's very, very important for you to have a central location where everybody can communicate in the same place. This is so important for us because what happens is we've noticed, and our group chat, by the way, exists on regular iMessage. Now I know a few people, and I suggest maybe using this, use Voxer if they want to do a lot of voice notes, but since we all have iPhones on our team, right? Because it's not an iPhone, but we all have iPhones on our team. So we just use iMessages to message each other back and forth. But we make sure that if one person has an idea and it's not in one of the other subgroups, we can be able to bring it to the entire team, and the network will be able to make ideas better. So that's a bonus. But these are things we use to make sure that our podcast is flowing super, super well, and we're not struggling to make sure things are ready on time. And this is what's allowed us to be so successful. So hopefully you're able to take some of these things and they're super helpful. If you want to be able to have access to our PDF form, by the way, please just comment down below, and we'll reach out to you and we'll be able to hook you up free of charge, just because we understand that everybody deserves a chance to be at their best. So we want to make sure that you're at your best as well. So cool. If you love this, please please subscribe, please share this with somebody who could also use it running a podcast. Please share it with all the healthcare entrepreneurs that you know. And hopefully that this is going to be able to help somebody change the game up for themselves and grow and be able to just go to the next level. All right. Peace.